Hey folks, Glenn May here with BassResource.com. Today I'm with none other than G-Man, Gerald Swindle, the man, here at the Bassmaster Classic at Knoxville, Tennessee. Gerald, good to have you here with us.
It's always good to be here. We're standing in the boatyard, which means we're close. Means we're about a half a day away from takeoff. So a lot of tension. It's getting ready to rock and roll.
That's absolutely. You've been here for about a week or so,
Yep.
getting out there on the water, checking things out, scouting it. How's practice gone for you today so far?
It's been pretty different, man. The river is, most river systems are ever changing, but this one's been really unique because the water, when we first got here, was falling. It went below winter pool, then it stopped, it started rising, and the current has picked up. Then we got rain. We have dealt with every change in condition, so the river's really seeing faster changes than normal. Made the fishing a little tough. It's actually stabilized out the last day or two. It quit rising as fast. We still have a lot of flow. There's still a lot of current coming down, and we got high winds tomorrow. So I think this practice, what I've seen now up to now, is kind of a lot of it's going to go out the window. Because once it stabilizes the fish and make their final move and get set up, and hopefully if you guy can figure that out first thing in the morning, he'll be fine.
You know, just first off, I'm not a big guy on practice. I like to practice least possible, but I have been here for quite a time, so I feel like the tournament's still not going to happen yet. I mean, it's been a while, but things changing. The water's been high here, the weather's changing. It's springtime. The fish are moving, so I'm not putting too much thought or too much emphasis on an area that I'm catching fish. I'm trying to more or less find a pattern, find an understanding where the fish are located. On the main river, pockets, back in creeks. I'm just trying to get an idea of where to go to focus on, because most of my bites have been really random, and I'm just running water. I'm just putting the trolling motor down and going. I'm going in a pocket, out of a pocket, and the bites have been coming so random that I'm trying to figure out more or less areas of the lake and more or less just fine tune it, because sometimes you just got to put your trolling motor down and go and hope that you get that good bite.
Keith, this is what I think your fourth Classic? Is that about right?
No, actually, this is my second.
Your second,
You maybe
okay.
think of Cliff Crochet.
No.
Everybody gets, they call me Keith Crochet and him Keith Poche.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they get us all mixed up. Yeah.
Well, so I'll tell you how much I do know. You actually used to play football.
That's right.
Yeah, for Troy University.
Yeah,
so I got the right one.
Yeah. I wish it was my fourth Classic, but I've came close so many times. I've been right there on the bubble, the AOY championship, making the Classic, not in the Classic, and I'm just happy it went my way this time.
Speaking about your career, you went from playing football for Troy University to a professional angler. You want to kind of fill in the blanks there? How did that progress its way through?
It's a real cool story. Like I said, I loved to fish growing up. I remember my first bass. I mean, it's just been a part of me my whole life, but I never fished a tournament growing up. I didn't have a clue. I mean, I didn't have much growing up. We were poor. All I had was an aluminum boat. I didn't get out on big lakes. I wasn't part of that league, that atmosphere of being able to do something like that. But once I was in college, ended up hurting my shoulder, and I was out in an aluminum boat fishing a little local lake, and they had a gentleman there in a big nice fiberglass boat, and he invited me to go fishing with him. And one thing led to another. Once I healed up, he invited me to fish a tournament, and man, that was the greatest thing ever. I mean, it was so exciting. I finished in the top 10 on my first event.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, there was only 7 teams in the event, but so I got to a good start. So, I was like, man, this is easy. We finished dead last, but it was still fun. It was the competition of not knowing, man, what do they got? Are we gonna win? Are we gonna not? It was just really exciting, and I fell in love with it, and one thing led to another, and I just kept growing as an angler, and bought my own boat, and I fished the club events, and once I excelled in that, I got in the weekend series, I excelled in that, and I got in the opens, and I excelled in that, and the rest is history. And here we are, I fished the elite series for so many years, and my second Bassmaster Classic, fished Major League fishing. It's just been a crazy. I never would have dreamed I would be a pro fisher. I wanted to be an architect.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I always love building things, and I still do. I work on my own boats, my Triton boats. I rig them myself. I love doing things with my hands, and I love designing stuff. I just got that mind of thinking, and it's real interesting. I never thought I'd be a pro fisherman though.
Chris, glad to have you here today.
Awesome. Glad to be here. BassResource.com. I'm on it all the time.
That's awesome, man. Always love to hear that.
Yeah.
So you've been here for a while now, getting ready for the Classic. You've been out in the water, checking things out, scoping it. How's practice gone for you?
Man, Glenn, I'll be honest, I had a great practice, and the first day of practice was a week ago. So it's a double-edged sword when you have a great practice at the Classic, in my opinion. I saw a 5-pound smallmouth. I saw a 6+ pound largemouth. Those are the bites you want on game day. But on, when you see those bites in practice, you know what to do, what to look for. So I got to be real careful not to get married to certain techniques or certain lures that I caught these big ones on. I just got to keep my head on a swivel, keep switching it up, changing it up, knowing in the back of my head, hey, look, you caught a 6-pounder in this area on this bait. But just kind of keep that in your head loosely.
Right, exactly. And well, we've been dealing with just this week alone. The water levels have changed, the currents changed.
Yep.
We've had even the watercolors change a little bit, and then throwing a couple fronts over it. We got one coming tonight.
Yep.
I mean, that's spring fishing, right?
Well, that's springtime fishing and on a river system. And I grew up out in Northern California, fishing the California Delta, catch lots and lots of 25 to 30-pound bags in the springtime. And the water levels are constantly changing. The clarity is constantly changing. The biggest factor, I think, water temperature is on the rise. So we've got a 70-degree day here prior to the event. Tomorrow's game day. You better believe I'll be looking extra shallow tomorrow because I know these fish are moving up.
Right. Hey, folks, Glenn May here with BassResource.com. I'm here with Ott Defoe.
Yep. Nice job saying it too. That was good. Most people say Defoe. You said Defoe. You did it well.
Well, I've been doing this for a while. I know you, man.
That's right. That's right.
And we're here at your hometown, Knoxville, Tennessee.
That's right.
At the Bassmaster Classic. Now, you of anybody obviously know the water a lot better, but this week's been kind of a challenge. We've had a lot of different changing conditions. How has practice been going for you?
I had a fair practice. The thing about practice, whether it's at home or it's anywhere else, I try not to put too much stock into it, because especially at this event, we practiced last week, and then we practiced Wednesday, and then we're practicing tomorrow, or we'll start competition tomorrow. And the thing with this time of year is fish change so much. They're at the time of year where they're wanting to move, they're wanting to do different stuff. So a beautiful day like today, we've got some south wind. It's sunny and about 70 out here, and really, really comfortable. This is going to warm the water up and just get those fish that much more fired up. So, it's all about adjusting to the conditions and figuring out what those fish are doing every single day this time of year. And you really can't worry too much about what your practice was last week.
Honestly, it's been kind of up and down for me. The very first day that I was here on the river was probably my best day of practice. And then, the few days after that were, like I said, up and down. You get a few bites in an area, then you'll go couple hours without a bite. So the key for me this week is just going to be covering water, trying to put my bait beside as many objects or as many things, and trying to see if I can't draw some fish out of the cover or whatever. So getting a big one this week is going to be a challenge, but the guy that can get 2 or 3 of those good sized bites is going to do well. So and consistency is going to be big this week. There may be a couple guys the first day or so catch a big bag, but whether they can back that up with another decent bag or another good bag will be key. So we'll see what happens.
And this is your first Bassmaster Classic appearance, isn't it?
It is.
What is that like for you?
It's really honestly real special. I've been on the spectator side of the Bassmaster Classic. I've watched guys weigh in. I've been in spectator boats before watching these guys fish. So to be on the angler side of the Bassmasters Classic is something really cool, and something that I've dreamed about for a long time. So I don't know where my emotions are going to be in the morning. They'll probably be all over the place, but if you're not nervous or if you're not excited, the first morning of the Bassmasters Classic, you're not doing the right thing. So you need to find you another sport to do. But so I'm just ready to get out there, get that first cast out of the way, get that first fish out of the way, and just settle in and go fishing.
How has practice been for you so far?
I like what I see out there. It's changing every day. There's all kinds of water conditions, anything you want to find. So, a guy can find something that he's very comfortable with, and I really liked everything I saw.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's been a lot of changing conditions out there.
It is.
Right? I mean, the water fluctuations, the water clarity, or temperature. I mean, it's a nice sunny day, and it was colder earlier this week. I mean, and there's a front coming through tonight. How do you attack that?
You know, that's a great thing about making how many ever classics it's been. You know, in the 20 years I've been doing this, you see a lot of different conditions, and you can kind of, you know, dwell back on those memory banks and, you know, hey, this happened to me one time up at whatever lake, you know, and this is how I'll combat it. So, you know, I like these kind of events where you really fish what's in front of you. You fish by the seat of your pants, and it's going to be a great event.
Somebody told me you like America's Funniest Videos.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
So you've spent a lot of time on the water. Is there an incident that maybe you wish you would have had a camera that you could have recorded so you could have sent it to AFV?
Oh, there's lots of them. You know, my Uncle Joe, we are at Lake Erie fixing to go out fishing. And Uncle Joe, I mean, he drives a semi-grain truck, cattle, 32-foot trailers. I mean, combines, big tractors, everything. Farmed all his life. What I'm saying is he could back up anything you wanted to back up anywhere you wanted to back it up. He goes to park my father-in-law's trailer, and the parking lot stops right here, and then it just drops straight off to the water.
Ooh.
Like concrete, just drops straight off. He backs that boat trailer right off the edge of that concrete, bam, and it's sitting like right here. You know, the tires are hanging off back there. It's sitting on the frame. So that was one of them. I could have got some money on America's Funniest Videos. Now I do have another one. Me and my son will fly some kites, and we'll tie them to a fishing rod. You know, if you ever tie a kite to a fishing rod, it's a lot of fun. You can really fight that thing, wind it in. Well, you know, when that kite starts to lose air, you got to really pump that rod, you know, like you're setting the hook. Well, that kite's starting to go down, and he's trying to keep it up, and he's backing up, and he's backing up, and he's backing up, and he just plops right into the pool. And it was the funniest thing ever. And then what was even funnier than that, he reenacted it like 10 more times. You know, he thought it was the greatest thing ever. He's in his clothes, and he reenacts it. Oh, and then he falls in. So
You've been out on the water every day. How's your practice been going?
You know, the challenging thing at a place like we have here in Knoxville with Fort Loudon and Tellico is they're two different lakes, and there's been so much rain in the region for not just recently, but for months and months. So there's a lot of color. Levels are fluctuating a lot. They've really pulling a lot of water through it, trying to get some of that water down the Tennessee River, down the system. So it's day by day out there. We did get 3 days practice period over the weekend, and then the official pre-practice day yesterday. And that's the one thing that I can tell you that is constant, is that it's changing every day.
Right.
And I'm trying to, as an angler, I'm trying to do the best job of keeping up with those subtle changes. And the variables that are most important to me is the water clarity, because it's changing a lot. I mean, there's every drop of rain we get runs off, and it'll muddy even the smallest little pockets. Their color changes, and then the river itself is just slightly clearing, but we're supposed to get a bunch of storms again tonight, so could throw another curveball at us. So it's just important to keep up with that, but it does fit the style I like. It's a pattern type lake. It's not an area where you can just sit down in a grass bed and mill around and catch fish. You've got to be very specific here to catch them, and that fits my style, so I'm excited.
My practice has been very up and down, like the water level and the water temperatures. I've found some areas that have fish, but I haven't been able to get on a consistent bite where I felt like I could catch better than average fish. And so I've had to adapt a lot, fish a lot of different water. I've looked at nearly this entire body of water, which is 80 plus miles of river. Trying to figure out something a little bit different than what everyone else is doing. You're going to see a lot of guys doing the same stuff. But the good news is there's doors opened up by changing conditions. And you can tell it's warm, it's sunny, we're in t-shirts today. Tonight, the temperatures are going to slowly drop. Tomorrow, they're going to continue to drop throughout the day, and we're going to have this cold front that moves in this weekend. That's going to change water temperatures. It's going to change a lot of things. And anytime that changes, it opens the door for anybody to be able to win this event, because anglers are going to have to adapt and change with those fish.